Greninja likes to spend a lot of time in the air, so we'll see if Puriya can capitalize on that as we go into this game 1. We're starting on small battlefield, it seems, this time.
Yeah, again, I think both of these players, they do want that little less space. I think, you know, Piranha being able to get those tricks and traps set up and being able to hide under those platforms. In the meantime, you know, Greninja really just wanting to sort of get in, get that advantage starting, and then never letting it stop. And that's been the real thing with Tarik. He is very, very methodical in the way that he does his advantage state, right? He's, instead of going for these, you know, 2-3
Oh
pieces of
my.
like, yeah, you know what, shut me up, Tarik. Honestly, just shut me up. Just that drag down into the down smash, perfect timing, all options covered. And Tarik just not even stopping. 60. How are we at 70% already? What happened?
It's like you've blinked and you've missed it, and goes for the downer all the way down there, does not spike, but who says that Tarik is done? Thankfully, Puriya is able to get that tech, but he's still not safe. Down tilt up smash, and Tarik, oh my god, what a start to this set for him.
Absolute insanity. It feels like Tarik is very, very warm. And it's worth mentioning as well, having a look at Tarik's bracket as well, he did just get a 3 over Yami Kia, who is the Bayonetta player. So even though obviously the intricacies are going to be different, you've already played a matchup where you're going to be avoiding jumping in the air a lot. So you can almost take that rough game plan and then bring it back into this set as well. So it's almost like he's had that little bit of practice of that adjustment. But, I mean, he hasn't really had to adjust anything with the way those first 2 stocks went. However, Puriya not letting it phase him, getting that down air. A deceptively hard spike to hit, getting that first stock. However, Tarik, once again, just putting his foot on the gas. And Kiwi, he is not letting go.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Piranha Plant wants to like spend time, set up these traps, set up these Patuis at the ledge, which was what Puriya got that entire stock off of. Tarik just trying to make sure that doesn't happen, even like at all. Just don't let them get set up in the first place. Goes directly into the Piranha Plant, so that Patui is not hitting right beside you at that amount of notice, and now Tarik is just going to take one confirm to get the kill here, potentially a nair into forward air or a down tilt up smash, but hang on, Puriya, a big back air gets swung, and that's a strong move. There's potential life here after that horrendous start.
I love that little bait as well, going for this a little bit of a side B charge and then just meeting with the back air. It's going to anticipate that Tarik was going to expect a big setup, and then Tarik will sort of drift in to close that space. Like you said, sometimes you want to be right next to Piranha Plant so that the Patui doesn't hit. However, that adjustment is going to have to be carried over into the second game as Tarik managing to close out game 1. However, Puriya really already showing those levels of adjustment and having that plan ready after what was a very, very strong start of the game 1, bringing it close by the end of it. So I think we've got a set on our hands here, Kiwi.
Yeah, that getting those 2 stocks, while it might not win the game, is so important for the mental state of both players here, because now Tarik can be slightly shook at the fact of, oh, hang on, I can't just run over this person, and Puriya's got the thought now, hey, maybe I could do this. Maybe this is a possible upset for me to get, and just running it straight back to small battlefield. Let's change the game plan, not the floor plan. Oh, but it seems like these back airs might just be taking you a bit too far, but thankfully, Puriya choosing the right option, going high. And Tarik only able to get 83% this time instead of a kill.
And there we go. And we can see Puriya already anticipating these quite aggressive approaches here from Tarik, recognizing the moments where Tarik is going to try and close that space. And even though losing that stock to the down tilt up smash, Puriya already a much stronger start here in this game 2. Lovely spacing around the dash attack. However, the name of the game is going to be Tarik's advantage state, already trying to get something started here, trying to get that up B intercepted with the Hydro Pump, allowing for that Meteor Punish afterwards. And all of these trade situations, they really seem to be working out in Tarik's favor at the moment.
Yeah, there's so many strange interactions that have already reared their heads at this point. Puriya, let's see if you can get something on this ledge. Unfortunately not. Tarik, just so well aware of everything that's happening. Of course, knowing that that up B's only got a hitbox on the side and just bouncing on top of the Piranha Plant and then getting the forward air from it. Funny enough, doing the exact opposite of what Piranha Plant is meant to do to other people.
It's so wonderful to see, again, just that matchup familiarity, just recognizing those options, and the confidence to go for a down air in that situation as well, where even, you know, he had that perfect spacing so that he wouldn't necessarily die if he had missed it, but certainly would have put him in an awful position trying to get back. But again, that's just the confidence that these players have when you are going there. And oh my goodness, I love that option, just countering the side B just to be able to sort of sweep into Puriya's space in such a quick manner. Oh, and I love that tech into the fall off on the side, just avoiding that entire tech trap situation that Tarik is trying to set up. However, you've gotten out of one trap, but the forest of bear traps is still surrounding you 106% here on Puriya. This is such a dire spot to be in.
Puriya's going to try and set up his own bear traps here. Now, of course, just being a little bit wary on using that side B after it's been countered already. Able to shield before that counter on the Patui works. And another big back air from Puriya. We're looking at a pretty close repeat of game 1. And Tarik just so close to hitting that confirm, but Puriya's still got life in him yet.
Yeah, we can see at the moment that it feels like Puriya's got a really lovely idea on defensive habits. However, just sort of being blindsided a bit by that side B. Again, an option in the back pocket there for Tarik to secure out that game 2. But going back to it, Puriya has had a really lovely grasp on Tarik's defensive habits as well. And in particular, the timings of when he wants to jump out of shield, when he wants to sort of get into his space as well. And his back air hit percentage has got to be sky high, borderline 100%, I've got to say. But again, it's been these longer advantage strings from Tarik that have been really pulling him ahead, and I think that's where sort of those matchup difficulties, like you said, are really coming into effect, because it feels like the neutral has been very, very back and forth, but it feels like per hit, Tarik is really, really making the most of it.
Yeah, like you said, his advantage state is just so much greater. Of course, Greninja offers for that more opportunity of the combos and such. I mean, that dash attack literally covered every single tech option you could have done there. So he just offers such unique skills. Tarik potentially going all the way down there, but Puriya is able to actually get a decent amount of percent off of it, hitting with the Patui and everything. Tries to catch the air dodge with an up smash, but not quite just yet. And now Puriya able to actually juggle Greninja himself. Gets Greninja off the stage here. We'll see if he can finish this edge guard. Not quite. But of course, Piranha Plant, while the moves might be slow, they are strong. You could just die. But unfortunately, down tilt forward air from Greninja. That's tried and true, and Tarik takes the first stock once again.
I was going to say, you could see how delicately they were both playing in that situation, right? Just the absolute fear that one of those little hits could spell disaster. And, you know, again, wonderful awareness from Tarik getting, what was it, like second hit of back air to turn around down tilt forward air? Like such a beautiful and such percentage-specific combination as well from Greninja. And then this is where things can get a little bit spicy for Puriya, because Tarik is just going to play the floor as lava, right? He's going to be playing this game where you're just avoiding any and all hits from Piranha Plant when you're at such a high percent. But for Puriya, he's then got to sort of play the game plan and then find the kill alongside it, nearly falling into that up smash, but the up air finally going to take it. A deceptively good kill move, but only at that sort of like 130, 140%, but not one that you would expect. Not one that I'd be looking to avoid in that situation, but has taken 130% for his troubles. And no tech there is going to spell disaster for Puriya, as he is on his potential last stock in the winner's side here, Kiwi.
Yeah, I think Puriya was maybe expecting the counter downwards for just straight death. Didn't even think about the potential of having to tech it. But Tarik not going to potentially dice with going straight down to the blast zone with the counter, potentially killing himself. Very smart from him to do that. And Cheeky Wee nair into F smash, tries to go for the full edge guard, but the armor that down B offers means that Puriya's going to be alive for just a bit longer. Tarik's still keeping it going though. Even the jabs just to make sure that you're not safe.
Ooh, lovely parry there, but not quite getting a punish on the draw. Tarik just about avoiding that Patui and spelling disaster, committing a little bit too hard. Tarik being able to react with a down tilt into up smash and cruises his way through into the top 8 winners qualifier, making that a very, very quick victory there for Tarik. And again, Puriya showing a lot of signs of life again, making an upset to get to this point, but it feels like Tarik just that little bit further ahead.
Yeah, I mean, these two they've played multiple times before, so they start to know each other's tricks a bit. Of course, we are in Germany. 2 German players fighting is unfortunate, yes, but it's going to happen eventually. And yeah, like you said, Puriya, a valiant effort, but just not quite enough for the skill ceiling of Tarik, as it seems that the potential opponent of Tarik, due to a bunch of upsets and also maybe DQs, it seems that he's going to have the winner of Speed or Kieron.
couple of players that I must admit I don't know too much about, but again, to get to this point, certainly, I mean, Kieran was the snake that made that upset over Dryby a little bit
Yes.
earlier on in the bracket today. Again, even playing against the Dryby Game and Watch, was clearly sort of molded for your character still being able to make that upset is impressive. And yes, in the meantime, Speed making a few, making a good run to get here, but it was in that Gluto DQ path. So, a little bit of blessings, but making the most of it. Certainly going to be taking it to potentially Tarik for a top 8 qualifier. In the meantime, the only other player making it so far into top 8 qualifiers is Raflo, using the Game & Watch to beat NT Steve. Again, a Game & Watch seems to be seems to be a character that's been really being used as like the secondary, being able to just sort of not too much of a high maintenance character, but being able to deal with, a few problem matchups here and there. So Raflo using it to full advantage to make his way there, where he's going to have the winner of Big Boss and Tapsy, who I believe potentially we might be having coming up on stream.
Yeah.
So there we go.
That's going to be a good set. Of course, Rob versus Snake. This is a matchup. I mean, it's two top tier. It's not something we're used to seeing over here.
Yeah.
But, it's a matchup that we've all seen quite a few times here. And I assume Big Boss, I mean, he's played the likes of the big snakes over in the US quite a few times at this point.
Yeah.
So we'll see if Tapsy can offer something new that he's not seen before potentially and make an upset. But if not, then it would be Big Boss Raflo for top 8 qualifiers, and that's always a good set.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's gonna be a banger regardless. And it's wild because when I think of like the top tier reps in Europe, in terms of like, obviously we've got big Steve players, we've got we've got some decent Sonics over here. But it feels like Rob is one of those characters where like we've got a couple here and there, but none quite in that like top 10, top 20, top 30 range. Again, that could be my ignorance playing here. It's not something I'm to be aware of, but it does feel like there's been the application's been up for a while of like top level Rob in Europe come through. Not something that we've seen too much. So again, it's a matchup that you have to know if you want to be successful at a top level, but whether you've had some experience on the level of Big Boss, I think would remain to be seen.
Yeah, exactly like you said. The only ones that are coming to my mind is, I think it's Zetros from Belgium off the top of my head, and Longo, but I believe he's mostly Dark Pit nowadays. So our Robs are vanishing at an alarmingly quick rate.
Yeah.
So,
rest in peace, Jesmo, as well,
Oh, poor Jesmo, man.
But yeah, I think that's the thing. It's there's having the matchup experience, and then there's having like that matchup experience of you can play the Robs at your locals, and you can play some very good Robs, but when it comes to the level of Big Boss, it's so few and far between, and I think it is something that Europe has been missing for a little while. But again, it's Piranha, and particularly with Snake for the most part tends to the main cake that is the game plan tends to remain pretty similar for the majority